Bob Duggar surprises everyone by marrying the woman he loves. But why did he leave his 19 children and marry another woman with his previous Wi-Fi divorce? Is there any mystery behind it? Let's find out today through this video. But before starting the video, I want to tell you one more thing. Jessa Duggar, a familiar face from the Duggar family, just welcomed her 5th child this past December. One would think that, after such a recent addition to her family, she might take a break from having more children, at least for a little while. Surely, after baby number 5, she wouldn't be expecting again so soon, right? Well, if there's one thing we've learned about the Duggar family, it's that they don't follow conventional expectations when it comes to family planning. Raised in a conservative household with strong beliefs around family and procreation, Jessa, like many of her siblings, was brought up with the idea that having children is a central part of her role as a woman. This mindset, deeply influenced by her religious upbringing, often translates to the expectation that a Duggar woman will continue to have children regularly. So, despite having just given birth, rumors have started swirling about whether Jessa might be pregnant with her 6th child. The speculation kicked into high gear last week when Jessa shared a touching family photo on social media. The image featured her husband, Ben Seawald, and their children, all gathered together in a moment of happiness. The caption was short but sweet, "So grateful for these blessings." This simple statement set off a flurry of discussion among fans, many of whom took it as a sign that Jessa could be expecting again. Social media users were quick to speculate that the word blessings might be a subtle hint about a new baby on the way, sparking widespread curiosity about whether the Duggar family might soon be growing yet again. For those familiar with the Duggars, this kind of speculation is nothing new. As stars of the hit TLC reality shows 19 Kids and Counting On, the Duggar family is known for their large brood. Jessa's parents, Bob and Michelle Duggar, famously have 19 children, and many of their offspring have continued the tradition of having big families. Jessa, at just 31 years old, already has 5 children, and her dedication to motherhood has been on full display for years. Fans know that the Duggar philosophy revolves around the idea that children are a blessing from God, and many of the family members live by the belief that they should welcome as many children as possible. However, while Jessa remains the subject of pregnancy rumors, her sister Duggar Vuolo has been making headlines for a very different reason. Duggar, who has always had a bit of a reputation for being more independent than some of her siblings, has been opening up about her personal struggles in a new and vulnerable way. Duggar recently revealed that she has long struggled with being a people pleaser. In a candid conversation on the podcast she shares with her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, she discussed how this need to satisfy others affected her life. "I realized I was a people pleaser from the time I was a teen," Duggar, now 30, said during an episode of the Duggar and Jeremy podcast on September 25th. She shared that this desire to gain approval from others was deeply ingrained in her, to the point where it even began to affect her health. Duggar confessed that she had developed unhealthy eating habits as a result of her fears about what people thought of her. "I was afraid of being too fat," she recalled, explaining how this pressure led her down a dangerous path of self-denial and anxiety. This pressure to meet others' expectations wasn't limited to her appearance. Duggar shared that she often felt overwhelmed by the need to manage the perceptions of those around her, especially in the public eye. As a member of the Duggar family, she grew up in the spotlight, which only added to her sense of responsibility to present a perfect image. She mentioned that, over time, this constant pressure to please others led her to be silent when I should have spoken and avoid standing up for herself in difficult situations. It was easier to stay quiet and avoid confrontation than to risk being disliked. Duggar's reflections on these struggles are part of the inspiration for her new book, People Pleaser: Breaking Free from Imaginary Expectations. In the book, Duggar dives deep into her journey of self-discovery, detailing how she broke free from the cycle of people-pleasing that had dominated much of her early life. She admitted that part of the reason she decided to write the book was because of how pervasive the issue is in today's world. People-pleasing shows up in everybody's life, every single day, Duggar said on her podcast. "That's why now is the time to write this book. It's such a problem, and it will always be a problem. As Duggar explained, social media only adds to this pressure. In an era where people are constantly comparing themselves to others online, the desire to fit in or be seen a certain way can become overwhelming. For Duggar, overcoming this challenge meant learning to ground her identity not in the opinions of others, but in her faith. We need to have hearts that are focused on who we are made to be in Christ, she said. From that overflow, we can go and serve other people. This shift in perspective has been central to her healing process, allowing her to focus less on external validation and more on her own sense of purpose and self-worth. Her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, has been incredibly supportive throughout her journey. During the podcast episode, he expressed his pride in Duggar for being so open and honest in her new book. "You deal with the issues so head-on," he said. "It's a really personal way." Jeremy's support is evident not only in his words, but also in his encouragement for Duggar to share her story with others, in the hopes that it will inspire those who might be dealing with similar struggles. Duggar's book is set to be released in January, and she hopes it will offer readers hope and guidance on how to break free from the grip of people-pleasing. She emphasized that while the process of overcoming this habit can be challenging, it's not impossible. There's freedom from the bondage of people-pleasing, she assured her listeners, adding that her faith has been a crucial part of her journey. By turning to God, she found the strength to let go of the fear of rejection and live more authentically. As Duggar embarks on this new chapter of self-expression and empowerment, fans are eager to see how her message resonates with those who have faced similar struggles. Whether it's through the continued speculation about Jess's possible sixth pregnancy or Duggar's heartfelt revelations, one thing is clear: the Duggar family remains a source of fascination and inspiration for many. Both sisters, in their own ways, continue to navigate the complexities of life in the public eye, while remaining deeply committed to their faith and families. Joanna Duggar has officially parted ways with her Fayetteville, Arkansas home, where she and her family lived for the past 5 years. After listing the property for $369,000, the 26-year-old mother of 3 quickly found a buyer. In an emotional post, Joanna shared a final photo of herself, her husband Austin Forsyth, and their children standing in the empty house. The picture captures a poignant moment as they prepared to move on from the home that had been a significant part. $9,000, the 26-year-old mother of 3 quickly found a buyer. In an emotional post, Joanna shared a final photo of herself, her husband Austin Forsyth, and their children standing in the empty house. The picture captures a poignant moment as they prepared to move on